Why? Hello, everybody. Why is it not doing my things, Tim?
It didn't do the intro at all.
Because I didn't have one in. Ha! Anyway, hi guys.
What's wrong with it?
It's live. But anyway, hi. Welcome to Deep Dive Podcast episode 32. Tonight we have Lynn Coffren on. She is the Winged Spirit Oracle, and we are happy to have her on our show.
Exactly.
So, welcome in, welcome in. Upcoming Wednesday night, we have Eternal Paranormal. That will be at 8 p.m. Central due to him getting off work at like 7. And there'll be a special broadcast at 8. And then Sunday, July 12th, we have Roger from Potter Paranormal Project on. And that one will be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. So we're excited to have both of those guys on the show. But anyway, man, that really totally threw me off not having the intro. I was waiting.
I think you said we're going to wing it earlier, so let's go.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Lynn. It is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Great.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me, and it's really nice to meet you guys. I've been in your audience for a while now. Yeah. My name is Lynn Coffren. I'm an evidential psychic medium and oracle card designer. I've been doing this sort of as my life gig now for about 3 years, but pretty much all my life I've been like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do oracle card readings. I do psychic mediumship. I do location reads. I do remote location reads. So all that stuff is on my plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as an oracle card designer, what does that entail?
It means coming up with the concept, and my card deck, unfortunately I don't have it with me, I'll show it to you, is based on my own life experiences, specific things that everybody goes through in life, through all phases of life. And so when I created my deck, I put all of that emotion and processing of all these experiences into the images in the deck. So it turned out being 78 card deck. And it basically was my way of dealing with really excessive grief in my life. I had a lot of loss in my family in a short period of time.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So thank you. And that was my way of, my therapy, I guess, for dealing with that.
And so on those, is it just your deck that you use, or is it a published deck?
Okay, well, I have my deck, which I have 3 prototypes. It's not published yet. And I also have 55 other oracle decks. Typically, I use only 3, which is mine and 2 other decks. And sometimes I'll pull a tarot card if I need clarification on something that comes up during a reading. So that'll get mixed in sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah. So do you normally go with one deck when you're doing a reading, or do you pull like a card from each deck? Or
I usually just go with, well, if I'm sitting with the client, either on Zoom or in person, I get their energy and then I choose one of the 3 decks based on whatever it is I pick up. It's almost like Spirit is saying to me, this is the deck they can handle. This is, it's like one deck is like really hard hitting, and then there's like a middle ground deck, and then there's the really lightweight. Gotcha. So, and I just go based on that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, that's cool. That's actually really cool. What else can you share about your oracle readings for people out there?
It was not something I ever intended to do. Somebody actually gifted me an oracle card deck, and I had never read oracle cards. I had casually mentioned to somebody that I occasionally read tarot cards, but very rarely. And so they bought this deck as a gift, and I brought it home, and I'm scratching my head going, what am I going to do with this? You know, because you pick a card and then you have to read this little booklet and hope that it applies, right? And when I
Okay.
realized that it really didn't apply, that's when I started thinking, well, what if I created my own? You know, and just my deck has no guidebook. You pick the card, and the card, you know, it either means what it says on the card, or you can look at the image and pull other things out of the image, you know, intuitively.
Okay.
So you don't need a guidebook with it. You know, it's very direct. It's not mean, you know, but it is very direct, and you know, it worked out. I was just really surprised by that. You know,
Okay.
how intuitive it really is. At first I didn't want to use it for my own readings because I wasn't sure after working with it, you know, designing it, that I would actually have a feel for it, you know. But I started just going, okay, I'm just going to put it on faith that I created this for a reason, and started taking the deck with me. And sure enough, it's usually the one I start with.
Okay.
So your deck, is it like the lightweight deck or is it the hit you in the face?
It's sort of, it depends on the card. It really depends on the card. Some of the I don't have any cards in my deck that are like, you know, death or lightning strikes or anything like that. I don't, you know, like tarot has.
Okay.
But some of the cards are very intense. Like there's a grief card, there's a betrayal card, there's an envy card. You know, there's the ones that you would consider negative. But when you take it in conjunction with the other cards, it softens the message and is able, you can actually add layers to whatever is going on with the person that they otherwise are not aware of. So
Okay.
as I'm reading, I'll say, okay, I pulled this card, and then I pull the second one, and then I look at it in relation to the first one, and it tells a story. And then once they look at the cards, and this has happened multiple times, they look at the card and they're like, well, I was just thinking about that particular thing today. And it's very, very interesting how that happens. It happens all the time.
And but it's a validation for you.
Yeah.
That you're picking up on the right things.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's cool.
Well, yeah, because I was wondering how receptive people are to the cards, because, you know, as far as it goes, because I've never had, like I said, we talked before, I've never had a type of reading done like an oracle or a tarot card. So I was curious to know how people react to the card that comes up. That is really cool.
They're usually very nervous about it because they always go back to the negative tarot reading idea that comes through the media and movies and such. And so they're always afraid they're going to be told, oh, you're going to die in 3 months or something crazy like that.
Okay.
And my readings are more about what they're going through internally, emotionally, who is impacting their life, what they can change in those relationships, that kind of thing.
I see.
Yep.
Okay. It's more on a personal level than it is lightning strike type thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, that would resonate with a lot more people, and the way that what they're feeling at that time. So a death in the family or something bad happening in their life you can relate to. So, yeah. Or something good. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I get a lot of good stuff too, Tim.
I know. Sorry. I flipped over to the tarot thing. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. So that's how that works. But it's really, to me, it's really, I don't know, just it really touches me when they look at the cards and I see that light go on in their eyes. Like that's actually what's happening with me. And they didn't even realize it, you know? And,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, you guys, welcome for joining us. Thank you. Um, Lynn's our guest tonight. Pop in and ask questions. Say hi in the comments.
For
Um,
sure. For sure.
so right now
We
we're
want to hear.
talking about the Oracle side of things and
Right.
that kind of those kind of readings. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we will get them asked. Oh, Miss Tanya's here. She is
Yep.
our medium on our team,
Correct.
Hi.
and we will move on to that in a minute. But Tim, do you have any other questions about the Oracle part of it?
Oh,
I love.
I got a whole bunch because I was looking forward to this podcast because I'm so interested on how Oracle reading and all that happens. I'm fascinated by the fact that you can do those things and actually communicate with people. To me, it's fascinating. I don't have that psychic ability. I don't have the ability to read an oracle like that. So I don't have those. So to me, it's a fascinating thing. Because Tanya and I, we go a lot together because I like how she can communicate with spirits and so forth. So I find it simply fascinating. So yeah, and I probably will see if we can contact you and see if I can get a reading because I'm just curious about some
Okay.
things that go
Sure.
on. And I'll stay away from the tarot thing. Believe me, I don't know why do we do that? Because it's the most prevalent thing that we see all the time. So
Yeah. And
learning,
because there's so much negative emotion attached to it because of the media, like I said, it's just.
correct. So reading about the oracle, so learning about the oracle things, to me is even more fascinating because it's a different realm of ability. So has oracle reading been around for many, many years, or is something that's just come out, say like in the past 10 years or?
Oracle reading has kind of been, I think, maybe the oldest version of Oracle would be something called the Normand deck. And that goes back a long ways. I don't remember now what year it started. And then around, I want to say the late 1990s, somewhere in there,
Okay.
Doreen Virtue, who had the angel cards. I don't know if you've heard of her. She sort of started the whole kind of Oracle phase, like in the New Age movement and all those circles. So people started catching on that they could take their ideas, convert them into images, and also intuitively pull from those. And then it just sort of exploded from there.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm have to look that up too because now I'm curious. I get curious about a lot of things, but this one here has got me. Guess I'm fascinated by the ability that you can do that because we've all know of card reading for a long time. So to me, this is really interesting. So, how does your tarot cards differ from? I'm sorry, your oracle cards. How do they differ from oracle cards that are actually existing? How does that? Are there similarities between the cards that you have that you create and the ones that are out there?
I really think my deck is unique. Of course, we all do, right? But mine is unique because my heart's poured into it.
Okay.
And I think the images on mine are much different than any other decks I've seen. I could be wrong. I mean, there's some similarities between a few decks, but everybody is now like creating and self-publishing their own decks. You can buy them on Etsy and all over online, everywhere. So if you have something that you really love, like I like otters, I can create a whole oracle card deck based on otters. Okay.
Oh, wow.
You can throw anything at it and still get something out of it. And the other thing is I teach people to read oracle cards too. So that's been a lot of fun because when they realize that they can tap into their intuition by using the oracle cards, it changes them because they can use it as a daily practice or a weekly practice or whatever, or learn to read for other people. So that's been interesting. I didn't know I'd be able to teach it. And turns out, that's been a fun thing for me, is doing that. Yeah.
Oh, so that's like an inner ability that you already have that you can do that. You can actually gather that information from there. Wow, I'm going to have to contact you. I got to do it now because I'm just, I'm,
Well, you're kind of busy right now.
I am. Well, I'm sitting here in front of my computer right at the moment. So
Yeah, same here.
as far as that goes. No, so we won't do that here. We'll do that we'll do that separately somewhere else.
Okay.
So no. That's what I mean. We're not going to do it during the podcast. We'll privately do it. So, because I don't want everybody knowing my business. I don't think that's the last thing I need. So you say you've had these experiences. You've had experiences that help you create your tarot cards. Does it cross over with anything paranormal or that in that factor or in that realm at all?
The only thing outside of like normal human experience in my cards is there are 4 angel cards in the deck because
Okay.
I do have a connection with angels too.
Okay.
So I included those 4 cards in the deck, but that's the only thing that's outside of normal human experience in the deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they pop up during a reading, I can tell the person who this angel is and what the connection is and how they can call on this angel to get assistance to work through whatever it is they're learning during the reading.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yep.
crap. Maybe it's something I need to learn myself to figure out
Okay.
what goes on.
Hold on. Tanya said she's going to be reading up on it because she's curious. And Park City wants to know if you do Oracle training online.
I will be soon.
Okay.
Okay. I'm working on setting that up. Right now I do local training. But I do want to change it to online. I have done sessions one-on-one with people and teach them how to read Oracle cards in an hour. So yeah, usually I have them actually reading Oracle cards within about 20 minutes of starting the session.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is there anyone, so on these readings, can anyone do it, or do you know specifically that people can do it or can't? Do you get that
Anyone
feeling?
can do it.
Okay.
Anyone can do it.
Okay.
As you know, the thing is to be playful, have a playful mindset, have a positive mindset, and just be willing to experience, like, seeing an image and just, feeling it.
Okay.
It's funny because you can see an image of one thing and it becomes something else. Like I had one card in a deck and somebody pulled it one day, and it's actually like a garden pathway on the image, and then it veers off into 2 directions. And she's looking at it, and I said, "Are you having a problem with this card?" Because she couldn't figure out what it meant. And she goes, "Well, first of all, there's this big Y on here, so they see different things. And so when they say, I see, why is this card a picture of a big Y?"
Okay.
I'm like, what does that mean to you? And then they go deeper and they intuit it and pull it. And it actually comes right out. It comes right out from us. I mean, it's part of who we are. We just don't tap into it. And it's just really fascinating to see these people learn how to do this. And, it really does make you dig deep.
Okay.
And once you open that door, you can't close it again.
Oh, okay.
Because your intuition will be kicking in even when you're not using Oracle cards.
Oh.
So, yeah.
This is the lady I need to talk to right here, because this group's been trying to help me get my intuition going, because I think I have it, but I don't know how to use it.
It might be a good way for you to start.
Oh, you're now even more interested.
I've
I've really been looking forward to this. So
I would like to get mine opened up more. So.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. No. Wow. Cool. Yeah. So we got someone else joined us.
Hi, Cher.
That goes phone. Well, so I'm going to ask this because I don't know if I don't want to get off track here, but Could this be used, say, when we're ghost hunting? Could we use these oracle cards to help communicate with, or does it just work with people?
I think, no, I have never gone on an investigation.
Okay.
I work with a paranormal team in Alabama, and I do remote location reads for them,
Okay.
but I've never actually been in an investigation. I'm going to tell you, probably it would work.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe I do need to learn this. I get fascinated by, like I said, I'll repeat myself 1,000 times because I get fascinated by a lot of this because I've been a paranormal investigator for 14 years, but still I learn every day. It seems like I learn something new that it's in the paranormal world.
Yeah, everything I do is learning. Everything I do is learning every single day. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm like, my word isn't the last word on whatever it is I do, right?
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure, and that makes a lot of sense because it's still learning. So you've been doing this you've been doing this for 3 years, what you're doing now. Have you had experiences in the past that have brought you into what you do today? I mean, as far
Yeah,
as
go ahead.
making your oracle cards and stuff like that, you had life-changing experiences that done that. Prior to that, is there anything that you experienced or went through that helps you with your oracle reading?
Yeah, I mean, I have always been able to connect to spirits ever since I was a child. But I spent most of my life, honestly, trying to get rid of it because I was
Okay.
told all the time that it was evil.
Oh,
So I
okay.
spent the better portion of 60 years burying myself in religion to try to get away from it. And
Oh,
then when I turned 60 and I had an experience where my father and my mother and my stepmother all visited me from the other side,
okay.
I was like, I can't pretend this isn't a real thing anymore.
Okay.
And so I basically, and I'm not telling anybody to do this, but I walked away from religion. I had to figure it out for myself, what my
Okay.
path was. And so
Okay.
that led into the oracle cards and everything else I do now.
Okay. Well, you've had a gift for a long time. And so now you know how to use the gift. That's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. That's really a cool thing. I'm glad you found your way to use your gift. That's really cool. A
Yeah.
lot of people have it and they don't know how to use it, or they get in the same situation, don't use it or whatever. So that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. Well, that's really cool. You're a strong woman if you can do that. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. That's very impressive. So yeah, I'm gonna have to learn from you because I I want to hunt cryptids too, but that's not oracle reading. But so I do want to learn more about the oracle reading because to me it's an experience that probably maybe I need. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You're a very impressive lady. I'm very impressed. I'm awed by you. So sorry.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what to say.
Oh my goodness. So if you guys have questions, be sure to ask. I am going to ask you though, you said that you help a team do readings from afar.
Mm-hmm.
And how do those go for you?
I wasn't ever planning to do that. But I ended up doing these local tours. A guy who runs a ghost tour here in a place called Solomon's, Maryland. And the reason why I met him and went, he and I went on the tour by ourselves because I wanted to see if I could pick up on anything in a space or near a space.
Mm-hmm.
It was a challenge to myself. I just wanted to see, if this actually, because I read for people, not, geography or places. And so anyway, turns out I'm able to do that. And so this team in Alabama, they're called Aura and Echo Paranormal. they got in touch with me and they wanted to know if they were looking for somebody that does psychic mediumship that could, sort of read the spaces. And I told them, I only have just started doing these in-person location reads, and sure, I'll give it a try, because again, challenge myself. I want to know, like, what are my spaces? If I can't do something, I'm not going to waste my time trying or pretending like I can. So anyway, I've done 4 investigations with them. I tell them, do not tell me where they're going. Don't tell me anything about the place that you're going. And then when you get there, you can call me. We'll get on Zoom. They can show me the space. Sometimes I get information about it before they even get there. And so I will tell them in advance, hey, this is going on in this space, or I see a space that looks like this kind of thing. And then when they get there, they're like, how did you know that space was even here? But I always say, anybody I work with, I say, tell me nothing. Don't tell me anything. But, because that's how it's like, keeps me honest.
Mhm.
Sure.
I think when psychics can do that, though, it makes them way more credible as a medium and their abilities of what they can do when they can see things and, like you describe them. And then when you get to a location, you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the first time they went into a space, they got on a call with me, and they're showing me this like really dark space, and I'm like, I couldn't even tell what it was. It was so dark in there. And I immediately said to them, do not go into the basement. Don't go into the basement. And they're just chattering about something. I can't remember even what the conversation was. This is the first time we'd ever worked together. Turns out they were standing on the stairs going into the basement.
Wow.
And as soon as I said, don't go into the basement, they got, they had already had the creeps about going down there, and they didn't want to go in there. But the person who had, who managed the location or whatever said, go check out the basement, and I told them no. And so they didn't go down there. They did not go into the basement. And the next day, they called me and, they said, we felt like if we went down into that basement, we were going to be fed to the lions. And I said, exactly. That's why I told you not to go down there. Because this thing tried to connect with me on the call. And I was like, no, back off. No.
Wow.
Interesting.
And so they trusted me and they didn't go down there. And I'm grateful that they didn't. I think it would have really emotionally screwed them up. I mean, I don't know how other to say that.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Dave's here.
Hi,
Kathy's here. And then Park City said that's cool about everything that we talked about so far.
Yeah.
God, that's it. Yeah. See, I don't know. I love that. Like, I just love that. Of course, if you was to tell us not to go in the basement, that dude's going in the basement.
Yeah. Well,
He's going to defy the odds, and he's going to go in the basement just to find out. So.
Yeah.
So have you ever had anybody, like tell them not to do something and they've done it the opposite?
Not so far. Or if they have, they're not telling me the result because it maybe didn't turn out well, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, my big question would be, why don't you want me to go down there? Tell me why you're not wanting me to go there.
I did the next day.
Yeah, that would be.
I explained to them what it was.
Yeah. So I have ran into some things in my paranormal experience that I don't have much fear anymore. So I go into places I probably shouldn't go in, but I do it anyway because my curiosity outweighs my fear. I
Yeah.
guess you can say so.
I mean, in a way we're alike like that, Tim, because I'm doing these things that most people probably wouldn't even try,
Gotcha.
because if I get stuff like really wrong, it's a credibility issue. It's me trying to perform, I get a
Mhm.
lot of that. People just like expect me to just like, give me a reading on cue kind of thing. And I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
gotcha.
operate that way. I don't function that way,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so, and again, the self-challenging thing. I just want to know where my limits are so I don't try to
Yeah.
work too hard in something I'm not supposed to be in.
Gotcha. So what do you think would happen if you told me not to go? Say we are in this situation. You say don't go in the basement. But if I go in the basement, I have an experience, and I talk to you the next day and tell you what the experience is, and it's the same experience that you already knew, would that be a way of helping each of us understand?
I think so. I mean, if people are willing to hear what the explanation is and be open-minded about it, because some things, you know, some spirits are like, you don't want to be around them, plain and
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
And I'm like you. I'm like, I don't have any fear about this anymore. I don't
Okay.
worry about what's connecting with me, because I've set boundaries. I know what the boundaries are.
Correct.
And so they know, don't bother her.
Exactly.
Uh, but if you went through something and you wanted to say, I had this experience, can you kind of maybe figure out what happened? I
Hmm.
might be able to help with something like that.
Okay. I would truly heed your warning if you told me not to do that, but my curiosity would be now I want to know why you're telling me not to do this.
Right.
So that's
Yeah, I would, I
I
would,
would do.
I would try to explain. In the moment, though, you might generally just ignore me and do it anyway, even
No,
if I explained it to you. You know what I mean?
no,
So,
I would
yeah, but
definitely pay attention to what you're telling me. I would heed that warning. I really would. So I would pay attention to that. Truly.
or at
Yeah.
least consider it, but if
Correct.
you're in the moment, your adrenaline is going to kick in and you're going to run down the
Yeah.
stairs, right?
Correct. Well,
So, yeah.
I'm too old to run, but anyway. So the thing is, I'm like you. I set boundaries. We all do, and our group sets boundaries. We tell the spirits what we can do and what they can't do, and we try to set boundaries with them. So that would be something that we do in the first place before we'd ever enter an area, because we've been in the situations where a team members being choked, and we took them outside, and while they were outside, I set the boundaries of what was in the house. You can't
Hmm.
do that anymore. So we do the same thing. We're on that same plane, so that
Yeah.
works out that way.
You have to. You have
Yeah.
to. And, you know, it's kind of funny because I'm going to call it, even though it's kind of a buzzword, I'm going to say lower vibrational energy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if you encounter that and you encounter it and everything is a fear reaction from you, it's going to take that and amplify it,
Right.
and make it
Right.
so much worse, you know. So
Right.
if I connect with something like that, I tell a joke and I walk away because it doesn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
It
True.
literally does. Why is this woman laughing? And I'm
Correct.
like, it's cool that you did that,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people when they paranormal investigate don't realize how your emotion affects a lot of the paranormal or what happens in the place that you're at. That does
Right.
happen a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, I'll quit talking, Brenda. Go ahead. I'll try not to be so fascinated.
No, I'm just listening. He's ran the last couple of podcasts, so he's all on it, which is
All right.
totally fine.
It's okay.
Haunted Fairbanks, hello, welcome, joining us. Thank you.
And Dave said if we went in the basement wasn't supposed to, he'd be in the truck waiting. So
Yeah, that's a little pun thing
yeah.
for us, but anyway, all right. Moving on. Again, if you guys have questions or oracle readings or the psychic abilities that this lady has, that she's very, very good at, ask the questions in the comments, please.
Okay.
But you are also an author.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have not I am writing a book, but I write all the time. And that's part of my personality. I went ahead and I got a history degree in 2018.
Wow.
And I've always wanted to write history. So I studied mostly European, Tudor period and Russia, and I don't know, not much in the United States, but Civil War somewhat. But now I've got, I want to write a book about the origins of the Oracle cards.
Okay.
I'm interested in doing sort of not necessarily, it's not one of those books where I go, oh, look, I had this cool experience. Aren't I great? Right. But just say that people have these kind of experiences all their lives and it's normal. That's what I want to get across,
Okay.
And just kind of encourage people to just approach this stuff with a sense of wonder. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's all around us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. I mean, it's interlaced in everything we do. It's not just in a space, it's everywhere. And so I'm just like, you don't need to be afraid, especially not of whatever you were given as a gift. Go in and look at what you think it is you have, and then find the place where you can learn how to control it, how to set boundaries, how to use it for the best purpose possible. That's it.
I like it.
Those are 3 really good rules.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Okay, you were also a dog mom.
Yeah.
Tell us about your dogs or dog.
Okay, well, I have one dog, but I also take care of all the neighbors' dogs. So I am technically Aunt Lynn for all the neighbors' dogs. Right now, I am taking care of a neighbor's dog. I'm in their house. So yeah, I kind of live here when they're not home. So I connect with animals too. So they do tell me things. And that's something that I didn't even realize until fairly recently. To me, it's always been this exchange between me and the animals. And I thought everybody did that. And then I participated in an online summit, and this guy came on and he was talking about animal communication. And I was like, what? And it turns out I've been doing this my whole life without even realizing it. And I thought it was everybody did this. I thought everybody did this. I didn't know it was a different thing,
Wow.
So, yeah. So I think the dogs know this. So any dog that's in my radius approaches me pretty much.
Oh.
Same with cats and birds and wildlife in general. I'm being followed by a herd of deer and a family of foxes. And now it seems I have a relationship with a baby skunk. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. You touched on it earlier. I was going to ask you about the otter. If it was, I know you said you're fascinated with it, but like, do you feel that's like your spirit animal? Like, what significance does an otter have?
Well, my spirit animal for me personally is a hummingbird, which is why I have its winged oracle. That's where I got the name. Gotcha. But the otters, for some reason, I just sort of connected with that kind of energy they have, because otters really don't care. I mean, they get up, they eat, they play, they sleep, they play, they eat, they sleep, they play. Sometimes they go to bed. Sometimes they make baby otters, but they're just like, everything's wonderful all the time, and that's why I connect with the energy from those little things.
Okay.
It sounds really goofy, but that's just me.
Gotcha.
No, it's actually, that's actually awesome. And I would feel that that would be like more of your spirit animal. You
Yeah,
know what
it's
I mean?
like, it's almost like it's like an addition to, like the hummingbird is like my lifetime spirit animal, and now it's like the otters have come in as a secondary camp sort of thing.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
so yeah, I'm just really connected with that. I don't know why, but
Okay.
Here is a compliment for you. Kathy is a member of our team.
thank
Just
you, Kathy.
amazing.
Right.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I am blown away. Hey, Dave. Thanks for joining. Um, so I saw on your page you were going to do your first podcast. Did you do that at the end of June?
I did it last week, June 30th.
Yay.
It is up on my Facebook page.
How'd it
And
go?
my first guest was the team that I work with, because I
Hey.
didn't know what I was doing, and I thought that's kind of lightweight. I can handle that, right? Anyway, it went really well. It was 2 hours long, but it went really well. I didn't, of course, promote it very well, but I wanted
Yeah.
to learn how to use StreamYard. I wanted to learn how to do the interviews, and yeah,
Okay.
it went okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you guys, when are you planning on doing your podcast?
Oh, the next one?
Yeah.
I have not set a date yet because I have not chosen my next guest.
Hmm.
Well, you already have our information. You did
Here we
that a
are.
long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that, guys.
Yeah, we did that a long time ago. All right, so be watching for that, guys. I do little plugs on my podcast every now and again, but be watching because she's going to put out more podcasts. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
He always pops in every week and gives us support, which is super.
Yeah, I always see him. I know he's there.
Yeah. So you guys, I'm going to let Tim see if he's got any other questions or whatever. But
Oh,
ask your questions in the comments for her. We've
Right.
gone over a lot tonight,
Yeah.
and she is like a fountain of knowledge when it comes to
Right.
everything. So ask those questions so we can
exactly.
get them out to her.
So you mentioned, in the pre-show before we started, you talked about a tour, an island, something about an island that you do tours on?
Yeah. It's an island that is now connected it's the southern part of Calvert County, Maryland. It's called Solomon's Island, also known as Solomon's, Maryland.
Okay.
And the man who runs it, his name is Adam. He has a place called Spooky Solomon's Ghost Tours. And he's the one, the reason I connected with him was because I had never been on a ghost tour. And so I went down a rabbit hole, and all of a sudden his page popped up. So I got in touch with him by email, and I said, well, when's your next tour? Because I'd just like to go. And then at the end of the email, I said, P.S., I think I might be a psychic medium. And this is like last June.
Mhm.
Okay. So I was just kind of really getting, steam on this. So anyway, he got in touch with me, and I told him about an experience I had in a shop down there. And then he said, I have to call you. So he got on the phone, and we talked for an hour, and he said, let's meet up next week. We'll go during the day, and I'll just kind of take you on the tour, right? So I get down there, and I'm not realizing that it's going to be like a location reading, right? So what he does is he goes up to a spot in front of a building, and he says, this is blah, 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 doesn't tell me much about it. And then he just stops talking, and he waits for me to say something.
Oh,
Apparently I said a lot.
oh,
So,
okay.
it was almost 2 hours on this tour with him, middle of the day. And he is totally stone-faced. He doesn't let on to anything, doesn't tell me anything. I told him, don't tell me. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I don't know. Like I said, the first time it was like, I just want to challenge myself. So we get ready to leave. I get in my car and I'm like, okay, either I'm never going to hear from this guy again, or I'll never be able to show my face again in Solomon's, right? Because I had no idea about what I was saying. I was just like standing places and going, there's dead people under here, or pointing up saying there's a spirit up there and a spirit here, and there's 30 spirits down in the basement. And I'm just jabbering on. I just, and I'm like, maybe I'm having a heat stroke, because it's June and it's really hot.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I got in my car and I was like, I don't know. I just felt defeated because he didn't let on about anything. About 5 hours later, he posted about me on Facebook. And he said, there's no way she could have known the things that she knows. Either she's superior at doing research and knew where we were going to go, or she's the real deal. So anyway, I was like, first of all, I went, at least I can go back down to Solomon's and,
Gotcha. Sure.
But it was really a surprise for me. It was really a surprise because we never went into anywhere. We just stood outside the buildings.
Oh, and you got that kind of a reading off the building. That's impressive. Very impressive.
I'm standing in a parking lot going, there's bodies under here. Well, as it turns out, that parking lot used to be a graveyard, a cemetery for a church that got destroyed. There was a hurricane in 1933 and destroyed it. The bodies got washed over into the water on the other side of the road. And so the bodies that were left, they ended up moving them somewhere else. But they didn't account for everybody. They don't know if they got everybody. And so I'm standing in the parking lot all day in front of a biological lab going, there's bodies down here.
Wow.
I mean, it was weird. It was just, and the way I described it to him was, I said, okay, I see this big wall of water and I see these tiny houses, but they only have one person in them. Hello, casket, right? Coffin.
Sure.
And he's like, I don't know how you knew that. I didn't.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know how I knew.
Wow.
So I scared myself, Tim. I scared myself that day.
Can I have about 10% of that ability, please?
No. Me too.
I don't know.
Me too.
It's not always on. Sometimes I get to places and I'm just a deer in the headlights. I'm like, I'm not getting anything. And I don't know whether I'm off that day or I don't know what's going on. But that day it turned out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So sometimes the spirits communicate with you, or they want to be known that they're there, and they're telling you they want to know that they're trying to tell their story. That I'm here. Here I am.
Yeah.
So,
when I got home that day, when I knew I was going, here's the thing: I didn't realize that this was going to be like a whole location read. I really wasn't sure what was going to happen when I met this guy. But I was like, okay, I'll come down and meet you. What So about 4 days before I went down there, I started getting spirit come in saying they're this or that person and telling me very specific details about their lives and the things that they loved. And it was really, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Turns out they were spirits from the island. They knew I was coming down there. So, and that's like, sometimes I'll do readings for people and I'll get messages for them days before I even get on the Zoom call or the in-person call. I can't, and other days I get nothing. And then I have to just sit there and wait until something comes through, if it does. And if it doesn't, I say, I'm sorry, I'm not connecting today. I'm willing to come back and try again.
Sure.
And that's how I operate.
Any idea why that happens when you're there? Why the spirits connect with you there? Do you have any inclination why that happens?
I don't know well, the thing is, at first I thought, are you talking about Solomon's in general?
Yeah, because you've had pretty good experiences there.
Yeah, at first I thought maybe there was some like past life connection to it.
Okay.
But when I started doing the remote location reads and reading, we ended up in the past year going to a few other places, and the same thing would go on there.
Okay.
So, I don't think I'm connected to Solomon's specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
this happens all the time. Before we go to a place, I'll
Okay.
start information. It just sort of dumps in, and I
Okay.
just write it down, and then I say, the guy that I go with, he's the tour guy. He's like a serious historian, so he would know if I can tell him something. And sometimes it comes through weird ways. Tiny houses with one person in them.
Sure.
You need to interpret that, right? I didn't know
Sure.
how to interpret that at the
Gotcha.
time.
Gotcha.
So
Well,
he takes
yeah.
those little details and figures out where they fit. And if they don't fit, we kind of shelve it until we find the information.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to do it, because then you get some validation that way. That's interesting that you can go to certain places one time you get something, the next time you don't. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of figuring out why that happens. I guess spirits want to talk to you one time, they don't another. I guess that's how it happens at times.
Yeah. I mean, this one, the first time that I met Adam down there, 3 spirits came home with me.
Oh.
And continued talking.
Wow. So let's ask the ultimate question. How do you disperse them? Do you have a way of, hey, get out of my house? Or do
If
you
I
just,
know all they're trying to do is communicate, then I will actually allow them to stay for about 3 days. And I say, you have a 3-day limit.
okay.
And if you don't tell me what you need to tell me within 3 days, you're out. And they abide by that. They're like, and usually they do tell me what it is they need to tell me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you the big question. Have you ran across anything, a bad spirit during this time? Anytime you've interacted with any entity or spirit?
I haven't
Energy,
run into
whatever.
anything like non-human.
Okay.
Okay. It's all been, I did have one time when I was physically attacked by a spirit.
Oh, sorry.
And it was just somebody who didn't want their story told.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's it. They're hiding something to hide.
Yep. They didn't, I got attacked in the same building on 2 different occasions, in the same way.
Okay.
Not realizing it was an attack. The first time it happened, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just sick or something.
Okay.
But then when it happened the second time, I was like, nope.
Okay.
No, something is telling me get out of its business.
Oh, gotcha.
And Adam and I were trying to figure out a story down here that's really pretty ugly. And so I have told Adam, I'm not going to share that story. And I've also told the spirits involved that I'm not going to share that story because it impacts their families now.
Oh, okay.
So I will not share it. And they want me to abide by that. And I told
Sure.
them I would.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
But in this particular case, we were just trying to figure out. Turns out there were 3 locations or 4 locations that are all connected by this same group of people. One of them's in Solomon, and the others in 3 other places nearby, different towns here in Maryland. And I've gone to all 4 different places, and we've made the connections. We have a couple more questions left that we don't have answers to.
Okay.
And I think Adam just wants to know. And I get that. He's a historian.
Okay.
But he's also agreed he's not going to share it either. So
okay. Well, that's good. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
the only time. It turns out that there were people involved in this whole story that were doing really ugly things. And they don't want it known.
Okay. That's fair enough. That also answers a question a lot of people have. Can spirits go from one place and can they move? So a lot of people do ask that question. And can they go back to where they were at, where they originally were? So
they do it all the time.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask us that question, or we ask that question, do they think that could happen? Because everybody's got their opinion, can it, can it? So did something follow you home, something go home with you. So that's very true. Is there any time on, you've been on a lot of our podcasts, I see your questions and comments go on. Is there any time you've been on any of those podcasts that something has come to you with either people asking questions or any of us?
I'm going to have to say no, because usually there's too much different signals coming in at one time.
Okay.
And I struggle with that. I can't, it's hard for me to narrow in on one.
Well, don't try doing that. We don't want you to overload. We don't need a brain overload on that. So
No, I mean,
don't do that.
I just tell people honestly, I'm like, I can't, I can't, I go on the tours and sometimes we'll have 10 people, sometimes we'll have 3, sometimes we'll have 20 on the tour. He does his regular historical, like ghost lore tours. And then once a month we do what's called a psychic ghost tour. And that's the one that I join in on.
Okay.
And if I'm in it with a group of people, sometimes I can't pick stuff up.
Sure.
And I don't know whether it's because I'm trying to protect myself from the energy of somebody that's there, or it's just overwhelm, or maybe their signal is blocking the signal. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
And that makes sense because our medium Tanya, she has the same problem sometimes. There's just so much comes in at once. She goes outside. She can't. It's so many things going on at one time.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. I was just curious if you'd ever gotten something, because who knows what'll happen as far as that goes. I don't know. So that's very interesting. I'm still awed by you, so I'm trying to get over that. To ask questions, it still drives me crazy as far as that goes. Brenda, we're getting up near the top of the hour. What are we going to do now?
Well, Dave said awesome interaction, and to let you know he would be on your show if you're looking for guests.
Okay. All right. I'll find a way to connect with you.
You can reach out to him. Yeah, he's on Facebook. So.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I shouldn't ask that. There we go.
No, I'm going to ask this question, and it's sort of a loaded question. I might get in trouble asking it. It's not personal, but I posted a few weeks ago about, how people self-protect when they go to a location and they know there might be something negative there, or they've heard or suspect whatever. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't sage. I don't do anything because for me, I'm not, and this was the thing, I didn't want to come across like, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Gotcha. For me, if I do that stuff, I'm basically giving the signal to whatever the negative is there that I'm afraid of it. Okay. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, I got in trouble for saying that. Somebody got upset with me, and I'm like, I'm not telling people not to do what they have to do. So I wanted to know from you, like, before you go in, to investigate a place, if you know anything about paranormal stuff that's happened there, or like the history of what's happened, like if it's a place where a murder happened, there's a place in Solomon's where we have that. And if you're going into a place with either of those conditions where something negative paranormal has occurred, or a murder or something really heinous has happened in the past, does that change your approach to how you go into the investigation? Does it make you a little more wary? How do you deal with that, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Go ahead, Brenda.
As far as the girls on the team, we do a little protection prayer to keep us, like surrounded by that white light while we're investigating. A lot of Tanya just posted, she tries not to know anything.
Correct.
So when we do go to locations, we try to know the least amount possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen because that's how I've come across on a location or whatever is because of what I've seen out there about it.
Mhm.
But we are trying to get more and more to the point where we don't know as much about it.
Mhm.
So then we're not hindered either way. Um, but
Yeah. I guess some places you can't help but know, especially if
Yeah,
it's a famous place, well known.
sure,
right.
sure enough.
And then, I mean, we have blessed pendants and
Mhm.
crystals that we also use.
Right.
Um, but uh, yeah, I think more and more, like a lot of the locations that we've done recently, everybody's like, we don't want to know about it.
Right.
Um, so we kind of go in there more blind. So then when Tanya works on doing her medium stuff and Misty's working on channeling, um, they're not factored by, oh yeah, there was so and so. And they pick up on what energy is there. I don't know. Does
Yeah.
that answer your question?
It kind of does, because here's the thing though, it's sort of a mixed thing, because if you know what's happened in the space before to other people, that can mess with your emotional state when you go in there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Don't know anything about it, that can mess with your emotional state when you go.
Yes.
So it's like, it's almost like a no-win situation as
Yeah.
far
Right.
as how you're going to feel when you go in.
Right.
Yeah. That
That's what
is.
I'm curious about, because for me, I don't, now, when I first went to Solomon's with Adam, I was nervous. He would point to a building and I'd be like, I looked at him at the first house. I looked at him. I said, I'm not getting anything on this, nothing. And he was surprised by that. He was expecting me to have something on everywhere he stopped. And when I told him I got nothing on that building, that was one of the reasons he posted about me later, was because I was honest and said, I don't have anything on this. But I was also nervous because I'd never done this. And so I didn't know even if I would be able to connect with it.
Gotcha.
I don't think now we go to other locations and I just go in because I trust him that he's not going to take me into a space that's going to harm me. If he knows something bad happened or whatever, he's cautious. I mean, he'll say to me, he'll kind of give me a little tip, I guess, about, there might be something ugly about this story or whatever. And that's really all he tells me. He doesn't tell me anything else. And then I still can go in and I'm not nervous. I'm not afraid. I'm like, so I just wondered how other people deal with that,
Okay.
either paranormals or other mediums, psychics, channelers, whatever they do, how
Sure.
they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Tanya's gotten to the point where if we're getting, like, once we get to the location, we're getting any history or anything like that, she will actually leave. She will go out of the space because she just
Mhm.
wants to
Doesn't want to know.
genuinely connect with what's there.
Yeah.
And so we'll know about it. And then when she comes up and she's telling us what she's feeling or whatever, then we can be like, oh, you know what? Yep, that connects.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes it uh, cool. I'm the type of person, I'm probably the worst because I'm always, I want to know everything. I want to know what went on there. I want to know who's haunting there. Like, I want to know it all. Um, but then in the same sense, that backfires for me because by the time I get to a location, my anxiety is so high because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this entity is supposed to be really bad, and so like I need to tone it down just a smidge. But like I said, I'm also I love to learn about the locations
Yeah.
and like what's happened. And I'm sure these guys probably get mad at me because I'm like, we'll go through and I'm like, oh yeah, like that thing is supposed to happen, and then they're
Mhm.
like, let's
Yeah.
stop. And I'm like, wait, my bad, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like the lore says this is what's supposed to happen, but
Correct.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get better about it. I really am.
Yeah.
Kathy's going to bed, but she said, "You are such an inspiration. So when you get your books out, you got to let us know."
Thank you,
Sure.
Kathy.
Sure.
And then Park City, they use a black obsidian crystal,
Okay.
Yeah.
and we have black obsidian. We also have black tourmaline, and we have selenite. That we carry with us. Not always use it, but we carry it in case we need to.
Yeah.
We don't sage. We do have a smudging spray. If we're in a bad enough location, we'll use it. But most of the time, we don't need to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really interesting how like the energy of the space and then your emotion and your energy and all this stuff, like it either calms everything down or it powder kegs.
Correct.
You know, and so I went with Adam to a chapel here that's close by to where I live. He was looking for Revolutionary War markers on graves in the cemetery there. And he goes, "You don't have anything else to do on a cold afternoon in January. Why don't you come here and help me find these markers?" I didn't go there planning to do a location read. I was just going to help him find markers. The minute I got into the cemetery, I see a woman coming in and out of the chapel, and it's a spirit, and she's coming in and out of the chapel. And I was like, and I felt like I was being watched from all directions. I mean, literally, as soon as I got on the property, I was like, all eyes are like, what is she doing here? Not because I'm me, just because I'm just a person that wandering around in their space, I guess. And we were just standing out there. We walked around and we're looking for the markers. We couldn't find any, even though he was told there were some there. And next thing I know, he's pointing to one of the stones, and he says a name, and I hear the woman whisper in my ear, "Yes." I mean, literally spoke into my ear. And it turns out that there's a spirit there that is documented. People that worked at the church years and years ago encountered this, and people are still seeing it there. Her name is Elizabeth. And what happened when I went with Adam is that Elizabeth identified what her last name was. So we know who she is now. But what happened after that, and I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. Okay. I'm going to quickly finish it up. So Elizabeth, she says, "Yes," in my ear. And then I look at Adam and I said, "Are there people buried in the church?" And he looks at me and says, "I don't think so. It's not that I know of." And he said, "Wait here. I want to go check the tree line down here." He was looking for something else. And he wanders off. And while he's wandering off, he's getting on Google and doing his research, whatever. He comes back because I told him, he came back and I said, "Look," I said, "Elizabeth is telling me that she's in the chapel. She is in the chapel and she's given me 2 other last names." And I gave him the 2 last names. So he wanders off again, comes back, and then he says, "There are 3 markers in there with Elizabeth and the 2 other people."
Wow.
Turns out that they were buried. The church was moved, and it was moved on top of their graves. And I said, "There's a little girl with her too." And she says the little girl's name is Mary.
Wow.
And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." And seeing that little girl, we were able to identify specifically, that this was the woman whose name we saw on the gravestone. I'm not saying her name here because,
Sure.
But anyway, it was fascinating to me. because Elizabeth came home with me. And, Mary is like, I want to say 3 years old. The thing was, is she passed away when she was only like 1.5, something.
Mm.
And what Elizabeth tells me is that Mary, they stay here and they basically live in the chapel and they spend all their time in that space. And the reason they're still there is because Mary wants to grow up there.
Oh,
She is literally growing up on the other side there.
that's interesting.
That's so sweet.
And I had to figure the math out on this because she died when she was 1 year old in the 1700s. So I'll have to send the math to you about this because she's
that's
aging at
fascinating.
this amount of time. You know what I mean? She's literally aging over this amount of time. And Elizabeth said when she is finished experiencing whatever it is she wants to experience, we're both leaving. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay. I mean, they are aware that they've passed.
So we heard
Wow.
on another podcast that we were guests on, we heard that cemeteries have mayors.
Mm.
It's either a spirit that self-appoints themselves as a mayor, or the spirits do.
This one does.
Do you think it's Elizabeth?
Actually, no, it's someone else.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I went in one. We went in a couple when we were in Savannah, but we were in one. It was called Laurel Grove, and I was out snapping pictures, and I got back to this place where it was a little bit of an opening. There wasn't stones; it was like some trees, and all of a sudden, like all eyes were on me, and I was like, "All right." I was like, "Who's back here with me?" Like, I know there's somebody here with me. Who's back here with me? And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like they were like, "Oh." And so then they kind of like turned their back to me, but they wouldn't actually tell me who was there. But I'm like, it was weird because we'd been in this cemetery for like 15 minutes. I'd been hawing up and down aisles, snapping pictures because it was a really old cemetery. And then all of a sudden it was like, I stood there and it was like, boom, it was like this. And I was like, oh, okay, hi.
Oh,
I
gosh.
know I'm being watched. Hello. Like, it was crazy. It was quite the experience. For
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Jeff Talon popped in. Yeah, we're seeing your messages. It's just when somebody's talking, I usually don't interrupt with with the things. But yes, we are seeing them. But yeah, so I it I just referred to whoever was there was the mayor, and I don't know, like exactly who it was. The cemetery was very, very, very old. I mean, very old. Um, People dating back to like late 1700s, early 1800s. Like old. Um, so I could just only imagine. But when I called it out, it kind of was like, oh, like wait.
Yeah.
Almost like I stumped it for a moment. And
Right.
then I was like, I'll leave you alone. I even said, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to go. But I'm just taking pictures. But I know you're here. Yeah, it was just weird. It was.
Yeah. It's funny because Adam, he wanted to do a cemetery tour with me, like a psychic cemetery tour. I don't know what it was. Anyway.
Mhm.
And so we went, and we only had like a handful of people. It wasn't a big group. And we were not wanted there. And it wasn't Elizabeth that was telling us to leave. Okay. So whatever it was kept knocking Adam's notepad. He has one of those electronic notepad things. And he kept putting it on the hood of his car, which he does all the time. Anytime we go somewhere, he puts it on. It kept knocking it off his car.
Wow.
And he told me about this after I got there. And I said, there's one guy here that is absolutely livid that we're here. He's not going to hurt us, but he is very angry that we're just traipsing around in this space with this group of people, and they don't even know why we're there. And then the other thing is the first day I went there with him on the tree line, there were like people watching me from the trees. And I didn't understand what it was, but I was like, I think this is like thousands of years old in the trees, in this tree line. And so I asked Adam, I said, well, were there indigenous tribes here? Because this feels like it's part of the land, Then when we went back for that one, we only did one cemetery tour. After that, we decided we weren't going to do that anymore. Okay. We both felt like we didn't charge for the tour. It was more like Adam was teaching about families in the county kind of thing. But during that tour, I couldn't pick anything up either. I got nothing on that tour. I was literally blocked out. And I told Adam, I said, cemetery tours, I don't think they're good.
Do you think the entity that didn't want you there was shutting down the other entities so they couldn't communicate with you?
That's how I felt, because I didn't see Elizabeth or Mary the whole time we were there.
Okay.
I did feel like we were being watched from inside the chapel, and they may have just been in there, but they never came out. And then as I was looking over at the trees, because I was just like, why is this thing watching me? Because Adam had actually walked back into that tree line to look. He was actually looking for some graves in the little forest behind the cemetery. He couldn't find them, but he walked back there, no problem. I was told not to go in. And I'm like, what, and here's the thing. It gave me a word, and the word was Manitou. And I looked this up because I'd never heard this term before. And it turns out it's like land protection, like a group of spirits that all have the same function to keep people from going into that space or desecrating the space.
Correct.
And because I know it's there, it's basically saying to me, you need to ask for permission from us before we let you in.
Yep.
So do you think that is kind of along the lines of elementals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only encountered one elemental. And the first time I did it, I was just like, whoa, what is this? And I told Adam about it. I didn't really understand what it was when I actually had to come home and research it to try to figure it out. Because I've heard of elementals before, but never had encountered one. But there is one in Solomon's that I have.
Interesting.
And it's related to the water, because Solomon's is surrounded by water.
There's also one at Parachaney.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, this has been an exciting ride, you guys. I'm like, this has been great. Tim, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I was gonna go back to when she asked about protection. Now that we're back
absolutely.
Anyway, so I have a hard time with the history of places because I'm a big history person. I love history. I really do. So to me, the history of a building or something, of course, when you look up places to go paranormal investigate, you look on the internet and all the history pops up and everything about that location pops up as well. So you kind of got to try to distance yourself or either do it, one or the other. So I'm more the person that knows what the stories are. And then as we go through the night, we validate that by using everybody else to validate the story. So we can kind of follow through and make sure that, we're actually validating what's happened. Tanya, Misty, Brenda, and Kathy can help validate the stories that are true. So I do that. That's part of what I like to do, to be that part. Protection-wise, I have ran into non-human entities in my life in paranormal investigating. I had a really, really bad experience in a place in Missouri. Since then, I have become an ordained minister.
Mm.
I carry a necklace with me that are the 7 archangels because I know the protection that I need, because I know what's out there. I don't fear it, but I know what's out there, so I protect myself from that because I don't want that to happen to me again.
Yeah.
We have footage of what happened at those experiences. That's how bad it was. It was really, really bad.
Wow.
So so that's my side of it. So through my faith and my religion, and I'm not a real religious person, but through my faith, that's how I paranormal investigate, because I work with the demonologists who help me get through those things and help me learn how to stand my ground with paranormal.
Yeah.
So that's how I
That's
protect myself.
awesome.
That's how I
That's
protect
awesome.
myself
Really.
to it. So that's what I do. I don't fear it. I know what it is. And we went, but with that being said, we're into a situation. This might help with, I talk to you later about doing a reading. 2 investigations we've been on this year. During an Estes session, I have heard my name come through the Estes method twice in 2 different locations. My real name.
First and last name.
So how
Not just the
do
first
they
name,
know?
both.
So how do they know who I am? Am I encountering spirits that I've encountered before and they now know who I am? Or just through my faith or what it is? I'm not sure how that works, but that has happened.
Interesting.
So I'm curious to know that. But mine's true. Mine being ordained and going through the ministry and going to a demonologist to learn my trade and what I do.
But
So
you had
that's
to do what works for you, right? I mean,
correct.
in the end, that's what it
Exactly.
comes down to. Whatever we intuitively, Tim,
Correct.
know that we can trust in is the thing that we need to go to turn to for that.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what
so
you
I
did.
have an understanding. I have an understanding with the guy up above, and we level it, and I know how to set boundaries, and I know what to do, because I don't give anything to anything that wants something. John, you may tell me, or Misty may tell me, hey, he wants to know your secret. Well, guess what? You don't get to know it. That's not allowed. So that's what I do. That's my part of it.
Yeah. See, I haven't encountered anything that isn't human except for, like I said, the Manitou, the Elemental, and then there's one more.
Yeah.
And that is there is in a basement in a building in Solomon's, there are 30 spirits, and they're fragments of people's souls. And they're in that basement, and they have created this congregation, I'm going to call it, because they're still humans.
Gotcha.
But they all had the same sort of tragic ending. And so they went to what they went through, and that's where they stayed. So they're still in that building.
Gotcha.
They're right now they're kind of dispersing. Somebody asked me, can it be gotten rid of? And I said, not by force. You have to literally go in there and speak to each of these people individually and tell them that they do not have to stay here anymore.
Okay.
You can't go in there and try to force them out like exorcism type situation.
Oh, yeah.
You will not make it.
You don't want to do that.
Make it out.
No.
Because I worked in that space.
Yeah.
And I would go down those stairs. That this thing would rush me when I got down to the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it's actually not going to harm anybody if they don't try to force it to do anything.
Gotcha.
It's just people.
Gotcha. We were in a situation here not long ago where I had a great big gray ball of energy come flying down the hallway at me. 2 of us saw it. So that does happen. So
and you feel it when it comes at you.
Correct. I saw it and felt it both. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
when I go on the tours, though, I'm like, when I say it rushed me at the bottom of the stairs, I will usually start suddenly approaching somebody on the tour, and I'll say to them, "You felt me approaching you, right?
Correct.
You didn't just see me, but you felt it. You felt my energy enter your space."
Correct.
And that is what's happening, which is what you just said you experienced. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go on.
No, that's fine. But those things do happen. And I've had, like I said, my experience, I really don't talk about it much, I've talked a little bit about it with this group, but it was an incredible experience of paranormal that I was well in over my head, and I don't want to go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go with anybody, my thing is how to protect them, because I know what can happen. Because you do not know what's at a location. You do not know what's there when you get there. Even if you know the history, you still don't know. And you don't know what the people before you were there doing and what may be at that location now.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things you can protect yourself. Just totally protect yourself any way that you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Your protection is you have the ability to know. You set your boundaries and you know, and you tell, hey, get away from me, whatever. So you do your own protection, and believe it or not, in a way that your natural protection. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it.
Cool. Gotcha.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Any last comments from anybody?
No. Nope.
Lynn,
Nope.
Tim, anybody?
Nope. I'm good. I have learned a lot from you. This has been a fascinating hour and a half. Your knowledge is really, really incredible. And if you can just throw out 10% over here to me in Little Winterset, Iowa, I'll run
I
outside.
have like this much knowledge, Tim. This much.
Well,
I've got a
no,
long way to go.
You're psychic. I want some of your abilities. Throw that outside. I'll run out and get it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been super great. I am always intrigued with mediums and, oracle readers or tarot readers. There's good tarot readers out there too. I'm just throwing that out there. There are
I know
good
some
ones.
great tarot readers.
Yeah, there are good ones out there. But yeah, I'm just like fascinated. Like, what can you teach me and when? Like, I'm ready. Like, just let me know. Like, I'll be there. So yeah, this has been an awesome episode.
I mean, when I join in as an audience member, I always learn something.
No, cool.
From either you guys or from your guests. It doesn't matter, which is why I come on, because you're very frank, you're very open, and you really want to know, which I'm like, that's awesome to me. I love that.
Yes.
Well, thank you. We do. We do. Like, we want to know about those experiences, and we want to know, things that work, and, how the team works. And because we're not better than anybody else.
Yeah.
We're just,
and so to go back to Dave's comment there, our motto is, you want to go something with us, get in the truck. So that's
I've heard that. I have heard that.
And that is open to you too. If you want to go something with us, please let us know. Or if we can come out and spend time with you, please let us know, because I'd be willing to do that. That'd be great. I would love to spend some time with you on an investigation, or just walking around any place out there, or take us sort of where the elemental is. I've never seen one, so let's go there.
You feel it more than you see it.
That'll work. I'll go for that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So anyway, Wednesday night we have Eternal Paranormal. That podcast will be at 8 p.m. Central due to work restrictions, but we will be back. Thank you so much for being on our show, Lynn. We will have you back in the future, because we always have all of our guests back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I mean, really, this was really an honor to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, pleasure meeting you. Pleasure. Yeah.
Be watching for this lady, you guys. She's got podcasts. She's working on Oracle Desk. She does writing. Like, she's doing it all. So be watching her page. Go give her a follow. Keep up with what she's doing and what she puts out and when she puts it out, and show her some support. Lynn, if you would stay on a few seconds for the live to end before you pop off, that would be great. Since my video is not up. Anyway, we'll be back Wednesday, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you.